Okay folks, here comes an experiment. Can I make a silicone mould inlay using a silicone mould to make it? That might sound a bit strange and needs some explaining. Now, silicone, the thing is with silicone is that silicone sticks to silicone. This is a silicone mould. So usually you wouldn't cast anything you were making with silicone in a silicone mould because it'll just stick to it. But I have seen other resin artists doing that, as long as it just doesn't stick, which is really handy. I have seen some use a silicone lubricant or a release spray. It's a similar sort of thing between the layers, just to make sure. So I'm going to do that. I have here some silicone release spray, and I'm going to spray this mould. Now, the reason I'm doing this mould, and I'll probably wipe this out a bit because I've put rather a lot. The reason, in fact, let's do a couple of them. The reason I'm using this mould particularly is because I very recently used it for my footprints in the sand videos, the last episode of, and it worked really nicely, but it did make me think, I wonder if I could turn that into an inlay. So I'm just going to get the surplus off because I did put rather a lot in there, but I should be left with, and I'll go around it with my finger to make sure, a nicely slippy surface. So let's see if this works. Now, these want to be quite thin because they are going to be mould inlays. Now, the mould I'm using is a really cheap one I found. It was on, was it Amazon? I think it was Amazon. I'll put you the link for it anyway, because I know quite a lot of people were intrigued by the footprints mould. There's a few footprints moulds out there. This is a cheap one. Very readily available. And I'd imagine it'd make very nice little key rings as well if you wanted. So there we go. So being as these are going to be for inlays, I don't think you want them too thick. I can already see there's bubbles sticking in the toes. So I'm just going to put the last little bit of this silicone in there. That's probably enough. Like I said, you don't want it too thick, do you, to be an inlay? There we go. Now, if you're intrigued as to what I might do with these inlays later, if it works, and if I haven't wrecked my mould, is, yeah, just look out for upcoming videos, because I shall be doing all sorts of funny things with these little inlays, and with this mould itself, in fact. Now, the little pots that come with this, they're dead easy to clean. I just use a tissue to get the most of it out, and I'm just going around with a wonder wipe. Most sort of wipes would use, to be honest. You can even just give it a spritz with a little bit of alcohol, because that shifts most things. There we go. That's just isopropyl alcohol. Link for that's below as well. So yeah, there we go, and we have a clean pot even. Sorted. Right, this stuff dries really quickly. It's a particularly lovely one to use, this particular brand of silicone. Just making sure I've got no bubbles in there. There you go, that was it. So yeah, it'll dry quickly. Couple of hours maybe, but I'll check on it between now and then, of course. And I will keep you posted. And at the end, we shall be demoulding them, seeing what they come out like. And assuming it's worked and I haven't destroyed my mould, I shall be showing you a couple of ideas of things that you can do with them. So, see you for the demould. Okay everyone, I have demoulded one of these. As usual, I was being impatient and it's a little bit sticky, so it's got a bit of a texture to it. But you can see that's going to work as a mould insert. Just going to pull this one out, and here we go. So all in all, I've left this about 3 hours, but to be honest, probably best leave it overnight. And there we go. Isn't that adorable? So there we have an insert. So if you want to see what I do with these, then watch this space. I've got a mass of, I've got this backlog of making videos to do, but I will certainly be doing something with this little guy. And now we know we can do that. Isn't that good? So if you found this video interesting, useful, whatever, then I'm glad. Please do give me a thumbs up, because that really helps me. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, you know where the buttons are. They're down here. Thanks everyone, and thank you all as usual for your support. See you for the next video.